Hello FlossTube Stitchers, Shelly here with Just Stitching Inc. for FlossTube video 33. And I was just thinking the other day, do I have to keep saying my name each time? I guess people do. I feel kind of silly saying it each time for people that have been watching me, but I did get a recent comment that said, where's your store located? So I guess I still need to identify myself. So I'll just throw it out there that my shop is located in Strongsville, Ohio, which is a suburb of Cleveland. So we're in the northeast area of Ohio. So that takes care of that. Sitting in front of the pegboard wall again with a few new models. So we'll talk about those first. This long skinny piece right here is Little House Needleworks Spring ABCs, and it was just stitched and finished by my framer, Bonnie Saffron of Valley Framing. And that is a frame inside of a frame. I had to make sure it wasn't a fillet, but it's actually two frames together, and I think it's really pretty. Then the patriotic, I guess you could call baseball patriotic, Take Me Out to the Ball Game, was stitched by Sharon Durkansky and also framed by Bonnie, and that is a Little House design, and of course she loaned it to me and we'll take it back in the spring. Then the sampler underneath it is by Plum Street Samplers. I believe it may have been a retreat piece at one time and then she released it to the public. It's called American Sampler, and that was stitched by Betty Hewlin. And then, let's see, this is part of Hands-On Designs A Year in Chalk, stitched by Marlene Oleniak. She chose to do it on a green, like a gray-green, instead of the chalkboard-like fabric. And then this is Dorothy's Discovery. Oh gosh, you're going to see lots of reflection there because it's glass on it. Dorothy's Discovery by Silver Creek Samplers. This was stitched and finished by Monica Merkley, and she put, I don't know if you can see, she put a little piece of styrofoam or some kind of foam underneath the skirt to make it stand out. That was her idea. I thought that was so clever. And then of course she stitched the shoes in a petite treasure braid from Rainbow Gallery to make them sparkle. And this is a Doris ready-made frame that has the easel on the back and everything. So in our area we get Doris at Pat Catan's, but those stores just closed. But they're owned by Michaels now, so you might be able to find this frame or something similar at a Michaels store. And then the last one for today is the Primitive Merry Christmas Pillow from Abby Rose Designs. This was part of our recent trunk show, and it was originally done on brash from Picture This Plus. We didn't know about that ahead of time, so we did not have any in stock for people shopping during the month of October, and so Marlene chose Conifer. This is 28 Cashel, hand-dyed by Picture This Plus, and she just tweaked the greens a little bit because I think the original colors were a little too dull for this bright of a fabric. So I guess we're going to do this first. That's going to be the giveaway for this week. So this is the chart, and then if you don't mind, I'm going to give you a piece of the conifer. The 28 in Picture This Plus actually measures out to more like a 30. I did a measure going in both directions, so if you'd rather stitch on 32, this is close. It's halfway between. So I hope you won't mind that you're getting 28. It's the only count that we have this color in right now. And if you decide later that you want to do it on brash or something more neutral like the original, this is a beautiful square piece of fabric that you could use for another Christmas or even Thanksgiving or fall design. So you'll find a use for it, I'm sure. So, and then talking about giveaways, the one for last week was the Tra-La-La Miss and Mr. Snow. And the random number generator chose Vicky Benyo, B-E-N-Y-O. And she said that she likes to stitch her snowman in both DMC and Anchor White. And she's also used DMC 3865. And other people mentioned that number too. So that's a good one if you don't want the stark white. So it's a soft white, but it doesn't go into the beige or gray like some of the other hand-dyed whites do. So anyway, 3865 is another good number. A lot of people mentioned using 5200 DMC, so that was really popular. So you're all my peeps. You like the same thing. You don't like your snowmen to be dirty. So I loved reading those comments. So I included chalk, which was the substitute for the original Atelier Amandier, which is more beige. So since Vicky said she uses the white, I'm going to give her the chalk. So just Facebook message me or email me and let me know your contact information, and I'll get this out to you this week, hopefully. Alrighty. Some old news, well, just in addition to something I talked about before. This is another scarf, another item that I got at the Fair Trade show at my dad's church. So this is just a beautiful hand-woven scarf from India with this really cool fringe at the end. And I have a tendency, as you know, to go for denim and to go for different shades of blue. And what I find when I go in my closet to put an outfit together is that all the blues are different. So this blue is more like royal, this is a true navy, this is more denim-y, this is heading towards teal, this has like a grayish look to it. And so a lot of times my blues don't go together. And I thought this was absolutely perfect because it's got several shades of turquoisey and denim-y blue plus the green. And so this should go with every blue in my closet. And I have to admit that when we walked into the Fair Trade Show, I looked at my mom and I said, whatever you do, don't let me buy another scarf. But when I saw this, I knew I had to break my promise that I wasn't going to add another scarf to my closet because it was just too beautiful. And then I also bought a pair of earrings made out of recycled bottles. It's, let's see, the company that you can look at online is revydirect.com, R-E-V-Y. And they're blue. It's perfect. I didn't wear them because I wasn't sure you'd be able to see them. And these were handmade by the Women's Co-op of Plastico in El Salvador. So check out Revy Direct if you want to see some other wares from fair trade cooperatives. All right, that's that. And then this is not a stitchy tip, but this is maybe a girlfriend to girlfriend fashion tip. So a lot of people have asked me how I do my scarf like this. So I'm going to take it apart and start over and show you that you take your scarf and get the ends even at the bottom, fold it in half, and then put it around your neck in a position where it's easy for you to maneuver. And you're going to take one length of the scarf and go through the loop. You can adjust it a little bit. And then you're going to twist the loop and put the other one through. And then you just zhuzh it the way you need. And it's just a fun, different way of doing your scarf. I think it was from Coldwater Creek or Christopher and Banks or one of those clothing stores that's at the mall. They had a video online that showed you like 10 or 12 different ways of doing your scarves. And they don't all work. Like some of them are meant for rectangles, some of them are meant for the long scarves. Some of them you can't do it that well if it's thick fabric, or for example, this doesn't work as well with a really thin scarf. Actually, it's okay though. It just kind of looks like a tie instead of a floofy. Is that a word? Floofy? I've heard that before. I'm gonna look that up. I think that's a word. Anyway, it kind of hangs. It looks more like a tie, but it's still, you know, it's still okay. So anyway, thought I'd throw that out there since I've been asked multiple times how I do that. Okay, I have seen lots of fun stuff online about the Midwest Cross Stitch Retreat that was just held in Amana, Iowa with Brenda Gervais as the featured designer. Some of my customers went to that. Oh, it looked like so much fun. And also a whole group of my customers went down to Camp Goddess Stitch. It was held in Amish country here in Ohio, but the sponsors were the wonderful ladies at Cross My Heart, which is a cross stitch shop in Columbus, about 2 hours from here. And they're also a participating shop on the North Coast Tour to Stitch with us. So that reminded me that I wanted to tell you about a retreat that's going to be happening here in the Cleveland area. I get my notes so that I don't forget anything. The name is the Lakeshore Retreat. And if you want to find out more information, you can actually just go to the Facebook group and join it if you want. It's called the Lakeshore Retreat. And then you can look under the tabs, announcements or files or whatever it is, and you can find more information. It's going to be Friday, April 3rd and Saturday, April 4th, 2020. And it's going to start at noon on Friday and go through 10-11 p.m. on Saturday. Just to throw this out there, Sunday the 5th is Palm Sunday. So if you do something special that day, you might want to know that before you sign up for this. There will be room for 50 people. It's being held at the Residence Inn downtown in Cleveland. It's $75 to register for the retreat, and I think all but $30 is refundable if there's some kind of emergency or you have to bow out. And then there'll be information about what the rooms are like and the cost, and maybe some place to ask for a roommate if you're coming alone, that sort of thing. And before I forget, it's sponsored by Laura and Joe Reed, and Joe is also a stitcher. So men, I don't know if any men watch me, but if you have husbands, brothers, sons, nephews, friends, stitching buddies that are men, you are definitely welcome at this retreat. Joe would love it if there were more men there to stitch with him. They're going to do a freebie table, an exchange, a brag table. They have a retreat gear store at teespring.com. There's going to be raffle tickets sold for a fundraiser for something local, maybe a charity through her church, and other fun stuff that she hasn't announced yet. The meal on Saturday night that's provided will be a baked potato and salad bar, which includes chicken, and there will be a goodie bag. And then I am the boutique store. So I'm very excited. I've already started thinking about what I want to have with me. I think fabric should be represented, fiber should be represented, all kinds of fun little stitching gadgets, project bags, that sort of thing. And I'll book a few trunk shows. But there will also be hand-dyed fabrics from, hand-dyed by the Slovak farm. And that's Laura's company. So she has a lot of really fun fabrics that we've shown on our show and share when we film it for Friday Fun Night. And if you follow her on Facebook or Instagram, you can also see pictures of her fabric. And she started naming them things that are related to the Cleveland area, like Cleveland Fog, that sort of thing. So she's got some really fun names. So we're excited about that. I think there's room for 50. Okay, I think that's all about the retreat. And then it made me think about retreats that I used to do. So we did 12 of them back in the day. And the very first one was in 1997. We just did it at a local hotel because a friend helped me scout out some locations because people kept advising me to have one, and I think I had just bought out my partner, and I was really overwhelmed and working like 100 billion hours a week. So we just did it at a hotel. And then the next 11 years, we were at the Inn at Amish Door in Wilmot, Ohio, which is down in Amish country near Berlin, which is the area that you think of for shopping. And the very first year we had 4 Ohio designers, and then we kind of graduated later on to having designers from all across the country. So we started off with Curtis Bowinger, Lauren Sauer of Forget Me Nots and Stitches, Ruth Sparrow of Twisted Threads, and Sue Staley of Seekus & Company. That was our very, very first year. And the reason we stopped having them is we had the 13th year all booked. We were going to have Val Danish from Val's Stuff and Lisa Roswell from the Primitive Needle. And the TNNA, the National Needlework Association, they either started it that year or they moved the dates of their trade show, their shop trade show, to St. Charles, Missouri, to the very weekend that I had planned my getaway. And so, of course, my 2 designers wanted to do the show, and so did I. So I actually ended up going with Lisa. That was so fun to spend that very first trade show with her. She was so humble and so overwhelmed by all the love she got. She had no idea how popular she was going to get, and her death was really tragic, and we still miss her. But that was really fun. The second year that she went to the trade show, she took her family. After she figured out that she could do it and she could train her family to do the things that I was helping her with, she had her family come after that. But we kind of stopped doing it. And I was thinking of doing it again because it has really, with social media, you see the getaways from all over the country and the world and cruises and whatnot. And I thought, gosh, maybe I should do it again. And then Laura asked me to be the boutique at hers. So that's stepping my foot back into it. So maybe we'll have some other plans in the future. But I found, this is how I used to advertise people, the old-fashioned way, with handouts and mailed newsletters. And this happens to be our 9th weekend in 2005, and we had Linda Lautenschlager from Chesty and Me, and we had Amy Brecken and Kenita Hurlstone. At the time, they were sisters and best friends, and now Amy Brecken has her own company separate. But anyway, tucked in this packet of information was a photo, and I just thought I would show you. Sorry, Linda, your eyes were closed. I'm sure we've got a better one someplace, but this is the one that somebody gave me that was tucked into the information. So that's Amy, and that's Linda, and that's me. So anyway, that was really fun. Alrighty, I'm talking kind of fast here, but actually I think I'm getting through this without having to edit and without having to redo it, so that's pretty good. Sometimes you have to have a deadline, and I'm off to teach English as a second language at my church, and I thought I would try to get this done before I leave. I kind of stepped away from my Stitch Mania projects just for a moment, because when I turned the calendar page to November, I'm like, holy cow, look when Thanksgiving is. So I grabbed my Festive Little Fobs Harvest Edition, and I was working on these. Let's see, some of the fabrics I may need to put a board behind. So I already had most of the white and the flowers done on this one. So I finished that. And then these were all like just one night or less than one night. There's a little turkey. Here's a little basket with an acorn coming out of it. That's actually green for the leaves. It looks gray on screen. The colors are prettier in person. And then there's a little squirrel. What I have to do yet for him is to put my initials and the year, and it's done over 1. And if I hadn't screwed up the squirrel and had to restitch part of it, I probably could have finished that for today's video. But I also just wanted to show you, I never throw anything away. So when I'm working on these small projects, I do not cut fabric special for these. I just dig in. I have bags that are labeled with the count of the fabric so that I know what I'm doing and how big it's going to be. And I just grab one out and start stitching, so I can do 2 more on that piece from the same series. And there you go. So hopefully I'll have them fully finished in some cute way by Thanksgiving. We'll see. So that's it. We're done. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. So happy to have you here and to get to know you through your comments. I'll promise I'm going to catch up really soon with commenting back to you. And have a great week. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.